just got sprayed by a little bit of water. Nuts, you can see it in the back. Wow. So today's video is on how to get some self-esteem and be confident, because self-esteem and confidence play a huge part in your own self-happiness. Now the reason for this is because when I grew up, I was so unconfident in a lot of the things that I was doing, things that had going on, and the way I saw myself, because there's so many external factors that made me think that I was not worthy of who I was. So looking back, I've learned a lot of different skills that have gave me the credibility for myself to be confident and to have my own self-worth. So the goal of this video is for you to have an outline on where you stand in life so that you can have a framework of where your confidence can lie. And also the important thing is to have a clear understanding of self so that you don't have to worry about all the little petty things that we all tend to worry about. So let's jump into it. The first thing is consider who you are. Go take out a piece of paper, spend some time doing this. List out some of the things that you consider yourself as. Like, are you socially conscious? Are you very green friendly? Are you vegetarian? Are you very mindful of other people? Are you a caring friend? These are all traits that, are good that you can attribute yourself to. So the reason why we're doing this is so that you can have an outline of different traits that you want yourself to be or what you aspire yourself to be, because when you have these words defined, you can actually look at them and reference them and be like, oh, okay, I am off the route, or I am actually on track to being a good person or the person that I want to be. And ultimately, to be a confident person, you have to be the person that you want to be. And it's always possible to be the person that you want to be, because ultimately you are in control of your life. So personally for me, some of the things that I would write down is to be a person that is understanding of others, a person that can be straight to the point, like, hey, if you're doing something that is off track with where you want to be, that I can go and politely and mindfully tell you that you're off track. And also I want to be a person that is mindful and conscious of all the things that are going on around me, and at the same time be a good understanding person. Like, sometimes we all get carried away with certain things in life that are from other people, external forces making us think and behave a certain way. But when you have this internal compass, you know who you are and where you want to be and where your own personal values are. And two, are you actively engaged in all those things that you listed out? Like, are you actively friendly? Are you actively a good person? Are you actively very mindful of other people? Or is this something that you're working on? If it's no, the answer to that question, then it is definitely something you should be working on. And when you keep working at it, it gets better and better. And then at a certain point, you should be able to say like, hey, I for sure am so-and-so this way and that way. Okay, so now that you've defined yourself, let's consider how other people see you. Now, I don't mean this in a self-conscious way, because it's easy to be self-conscious when we're thinking about how other people see us, but we're thinking about our good friends and how they see us. So now we're talking about how our good friends think about us. And the way to do that is to consider what they come to you for. Do they come to you because you're a good chef? Do they come to you for listening advice? Or do they come to you to listen to them, de-stress? That means you're a good listener. Do they come to you for advice? Are they the weightlifting friend, or are they the surfing friend who comes to you whenever you need help with surfboard picking or something of that nature? And if you don't have any friends that you can think of, watch my other video on how to be less lonely, because it is really important to get some more friends. And I know sometimes when you're not feeling the most confident, it's hard to find friends, or it's hard to make friends. But like I covered in that video, it's always possible for you to be less lonely and meet some awesome people that vibe with you. Okay, going back to where we were, think about the things that you're proud to say that you are for your friends. Like, are you a very caring friend that listens to all your friends' stories? Or are you a caring friend that helps your friends out whenever they are stuck in traffic, or they're stuck with a broken car or something? You're there for them. Or if they're going through relationship problems and you're always there to listen. Think about the person that you are, the person that you would like to be, the person that like your dog thinks you are, the best you. So the goal of this here is for you to think about the best you based on the people around you. That way you're not distracted by like self-ego, like thinking about, oh, I should be this, I should be that. This whole thing is to think about how your good friends think about you, what they care and what they value you for, and what your strongest points in your relationship with them is. Because when you can see those, you can put some value to that, and ultimately that is going to give you some confidence to who you are. Okay, so now that we have your inner circle covered, let's think about how other people see you. Now, this is not as important because you shouldn't concern yourself so much about how other people see you, but it is a necessary step in understanding how you look to other people, because we are ultimately very social creatures and we do care about how we seem to other people. So how we do this is you first consider what circles you hang out in, what kind of people you interact with, what your day-to-day life is like. Say you're working at the office, what kind of people are always over there at your office? You know, maybe you're in the marketing department, you have a kind of, you know, video guys or photography people or ad buyers. What is that culture like? Or if you're in college, there's so many different groups and cliques that you could be a part of. And I don't mean clique in a bad way, I just mean types of demographics that are around you that, you know, you're surrounding yourself with, maybe by choice or maybe because of the environment you're in. Or maybe it's just a hobby that you do. Maybe you're a bodybuilder, a weightlifter, or a chef, or a photographer, or a surfer, skater. There's so many different groups of people that we all associate ourselves with, or we are always around. All right, so now keep those people in mind and think about you in relation to those people. Do you care about these people? If yes, or if you just want to do it as a feel-good type of thing, do you care about their opinion? And if you don't care about their opinion, then think about the people that you do care about their opinion, and if you're around them more often. So once you understand the group or the tribe that you belong in, and you care a bit about how they think of you and how they accept you, then you need to think about, are you good at what you do? Say if you're a person that likes cooking, are you good at what you do? Do you spend time thinking about recipes? Do you spend time learning new tips and tricks? Do you actively cook to improve your cooking? There's so many things that we can do to be better at what we're doing. And when we're good at something that we do, then we tend to feel a lot more confident in it. And a good way to understand when you're good at what you do is to list out some of the ways that define a person that's good from a person that's not too good, or a person that's a professional and a person that's an amateur. So for instance, when I started freelancing, I wasn't sure if my freelance work was good or not. And the way that I was able to understand that my work was good and start charging people and feel confident in my own stuff was I started watching a lot of other videos that people put online, like ads and promotions for other businesses. And then I started breaking it down and understood what businesses actually used, and it was like, hey, I can make something like that. And then once I started making something like that, I was like, oh, hey, I'm actually good now. I can get paid thousands of dollars for these ads that I know other brands are paying thousands of dollars for. And you have to be objective in this, and don't give yourself too much of a handicap, because that can look bad if you do it the wrong way, where you're like so confident about your work, but it's actually not that good. So be objective, be a tough critic, but not too tough, because, you know, like personally as a creative, sometimes we are too tough on our own work, but at least be a bit more objective about your work and understand when you're good and when you're not good. And when you're not good, understand that you could be good. And where you're actually good, or you hit all these checkpoints, understand it and be confident in yourself because of it. So the plan here is for you to be good at what you do and understand how to be good at what you do, so that you can give yourself your own self-validation. And while doing that, while being good and validating yourself, that in turn shows to other people that you're good at what you do too. Because if you're actually good at surfing, it shows. Like, you can't fake something like that. If you're good at cooking, it shows, you know, like, because your food tastes amazing and you can't fake that. Or if you're a great photographer, it shows, because you can't fake that at all. And when you're good at all these things, people are gonna naturally come to you and be like, hey, that is really great work. Hey, you were really good at surfing. Or hey, that skate trick that you did was amazing. And ultimately, once you hear this enough times, you actually start to embody it and understand it and be like, hey, I'm actually good at what I do. And And when you're good at what you do, guess what? You're gonna feel confident. Actually, one thing too is when I first got on the camera to vlog, this was like 3 years ago, I was so awkward. I couldn't even sit in front of a camera. I thought this was the worst thing ever. But once I started doing a lot more videos, shooting myself in front of the camera, talking to the camera, I started to be familiar with it, and I was like, hey, I'm actually okay. I can sit in front of the camera and talk to you guys. And once I started hearing a lot of people comment and say like, hey, I love your videos, it helped change my life, or it's inspiring me to do this, or even some people that are like, hey, this is such an underrated channel, you know, like that makes me feel really good, and it gives me some confidence to keep wanting to do more videos. So that ultimately all goes full circle. Once you start doing all the work, once you start getting better, and once people come in and like compliment you and let you know that you're good and validate you, you start feeling confident about yourself. Okay, ultimately, confidence is acceptance of self. These guidelines in the video are for you to finally have something to base on so that you have the mental foundations to finally attribute yourself confidence and worth to. Now, thanks a lot for watching this video. Click this button to subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.